Was toxic. Story time. Growing up, I had this best friend who we're gonna name Keisha. And since my mom died when I was a baby, Keisha's mom kind of stepped up and became a motherly figure to me. And even though I appreciated it, I don't think Keisha did. Because she would always make these rude comments like, she's not your real mom, or she doesn't love you as much as she loves me because I'm her actual daughter. And it really bothered me, but I chose to ignore it because I loved Keisha's mom like my own mom. So this one time on Mother's Day, I was at Keisha's house hanging out with her and her mom. And Keisha had this really bad attitude just because I was there. Her attitude was so bad that I didn't even want to be there. So eventually I asked if I could go home, but Keisha's mom said I didn't have to and not to let Keisha's attitude ruin our day. And when her mom said that, it really set her off. And she said something that I would never forgive her for. Keisha turns to me and opens up her disgusting mouth to say, "Your mother is dead. You should be spending Mother's Day at a cemetery."
When my grandfather was younger, he was convicted of a crime that he didn't do, and the judge sentenced him to death row. But when it came day to kill my grandfather talked his way out of the whole situation. So when execution day came for my grandfather, there was actually two guys in front of him who were going to be killed first. So the guards asked the first guy who was going to be killed, they said, "What do you want as your last meal?" The guy says, "Oh, I want a big juicy steak." So they give him the steak, he eats it, and then after he eats it, the guards kill him immediately. So the guards ask the same question to the second guy getting executed. They say, "What do you want as your last meal?" The guy says, "Oh, I want a big lobster." So they give him the lobster, he eats it, and once he eats it, they kill him. So then it came my grandfather's turn to be executed, and they ask him, "What do you want to eat as your last meal?" My grandfather looks at the guards and goes, "I want a big bowl of strawberries." The guards look at him and go, "Strawberries? Those are out of season." So then my grandfather goes, "Don't worry about it. I don't mind waiting at all."
When I was younger, like most kids, I was really gullible. One day, my dad had just finished riding his motorcycle and he parked it in the street. I don't quite remember what we were doing exactly, but my brother and I were there next to the motorcycle. And my brother dares me to touch the exhaust pipe on this motorcycle. Now, I, at the time, didn't know anything about cars or motorcycles, and to be honest, I still don't. I just remember my brother telling me that it felt really cool and I should touch it. So I literally grabbed it with my hands, and to my surprise, it was hot and I literally got burns on my hand. I remember running inside, crying to my mom, and my brother is just laughing like a psycho. It was the worst pain I've ever felt in my life, but my brother got in trouble and that made up for it. I was going to New York for the weekend, and I couldn't bring my French bulldog, so I decided to take him to a daycare that offered overnight boarding so he can make some new friends. This place was really bougie and had a lot of activities like a swimming pool and obstacle courses. I was also told that dogs were separated by two groups, small dogs and large dogs, and my dog Holden would be with the small dogs. After we toured the place, it was time to say goodbye for the weekend, so Holden goes to play with his new friends and I head towards the airport. Not even 5 minutes pass and I get a call from the principal saying that my child was being a bully and he has to be put in with the big dog since he's picking on the small dogs. Now I understand how my parents felt every time I got in trouble as a kid.
A few weekends ago, I ran into a group of friends that I hadn't seen in a while. And while we were catching up, one of the girls mentioned that she was TikTok famous. And I was like, "Oh wow, that's so cool. What do you do on TikTok?" And she was like, "Oh, you've probably already seen some of my videos because a few of them have went viral. And I have over 5,000 followers, but I mostly lip sync to popular audios." And I was like, "Wow, that's great. I'll have to follow you." And then she asked me what I did and I told her that I painted. And she was like, "Oh, that's so cute. How many followers do you have?" And I was like, "Oh, well, I kind of have a lot." And she was like, "That's great. Maybe one day you'll hit 5K too." A few weekends.
My sister and I have always been mistaken as twins. I'm 19 and she's 16, but we had the same height, skin tone, and similar voice. She also has a habit of being a copycat, from the way I dress to hobbies, even piercings. I know it's cute if you look at it from the outside, but sometimes it gets annoying. Like, yeah, we are quite close too, but why does she always happen to pick up everything I pick up? One afternoon, I was tidying up some costumes in my college showroom and found a rather cute brown and pink wig. It looks like a mushroom. I put it on, think it looks rather funny, so I snapped a picture and posted it to my Instagram. I received a text from my sister asking if I really cut my hair. I didn't mention it was a wig. While I somewhat have a feeling that she might copy that too, I lied and replied yes. I came home that weekend and lo and behold, my sister emerged with the same silly brown and pink bob cut, except this one is on her permanent hair. She was surprised that I arrived with my hair still long, then realized that I liked her. She was furious that she had to cut that silly hairstyle because she thought I had it. Our parents think that it's a really bad joke and wanted me to cut my hair too to make it up to her. So am I the asshole for telling my sister
Have I ever hurt myself while making slime? Well, this is one of the most painful experiences I've ever had. I had finished making a batch of slime and I was carrying the bowl across the room ready for it to be packed. As I was walking, I tripped up and I dropped the bowl filled with slime on my foot. It hurt so much that I actually had to go to hospital. Luckily, nothing was broken, but it was definitely a painful experience.
Am I wrong for making all the women in my family leave my wedding after they showed up wearing white? I, 33 male, have a large family, mostly aunts and female cousins aside from the mom, stepmom, stepsister, and grandmother. I don't know how to say this, but all those women I mentioned above are into teasing and joking. They formed a unit, which I admit is kind of toxic, and they tease and roast every new woman that enters the family by marriage by setting up tests to see if they deserve to be part of the family, or roast their looks and styles to the point of breaking confidence and self-esteem down. Then, after a few months of teasing, they announced that they finally welcomed them into the family. The newest member would join in on the teasing too. When I first introduced my then girlfriend, now wife, I made it clear that I didn't want any of the women in the unit to come at her or harass her, not even with a single word. They went behind my back and roasted her looks and job, and I discovered they've been doing it on Facebook. I made them apologize one by one after they gave the "we're just testing the water to see if she's capable to be part of the family" excuse. They didn't want to apologize, but once I said I wouldn't invite any of the unit unless they apologized, including my mom, everyone immediately apologized.